Hey folks, it's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building again. That's right, SPS is out here doing it with an SPS small business Monday. I'm over here at the Motor City Smoothie Company in downtown Detroit, East Jefferson, 13222 East Jefferson. Shout out to Chuck Bailey, proprietor here. But I'm also here with a great young man, also a great friend, a great competitor too. Try to stay off that part. We get to talking about hoops, but I want to introduce to you all Mr. Cameron Bell Esquire. That's right, this young man is an attorney, passed a bar in the state of Michigan, is out here serving clients in a number of ways. One thing that stood out to me about you guys' advertisement, also knowing you, they're free consultations. So if people were to reach out to 800-771-6689, they can say, hey, I saw this great video with a great young man, young attorney, Cameron Bell, and I'm looking to get some information. But before we get into all that, let's introduce you to the people, Cameron. I know you somebody I can call on all hours of the night. This is before you was an attorney.
Yes, sir.
I say if I need something to go down with my man, you know or not, you good right here.
Yes, sir.
And then I just want the people to know the person you are and the resources that you can provide. So now in 2020, when you introduce yourself, who do you say you are and what do you say about yourself?
I say, I'm Cameron Bell. I'm an attorney. I'm actually living my dream. I put a lot of hard work into to be where I'm at today. A lot of people that know me, a lot of my friends that I went to college with, came up with, still got the same group of friends. They know, my journey and kind of what I went through to get to where I'm at today. So, if anything, I just, introduce myself as a welcoming person. I'm a good person. I try and spread the knowledge that I have in any way possible. It's just a blessing to be able to be doing what I'm doing. I mean, I don't take it for granted. I think about it all the time as to what I went through to get here. So I don't take it for granted. And I'm very humble, man. I'm very humble. And just, this is just the beginning as to, the things that I'm going to accomplish. So it's good to, be able to help support your platform as far as, SPS. And like you said, we've had our battles.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, humble is the word, and it's quite obvious. Humble and very bright, very intelligent. I go back to when we met years ago at the YMCA in Lansing, me being a native Detroiter and you as well, but we made our way to Lansing. I think Lansing was a land of opportunity for us in some way or form. You went up there for your work and mine, and we got to meet on the court. I think we were fast friends as soon as we met, but as I was joking with you the other day, if it was game point, you weren't on my team, man, I don't want to have nothing to do with you, man. And this is the guy, and I think this speaks to his ability both on the court and off the court in life, is clutch. That guy you can rely on, because I knew that if you had a chance to get the last shot in the game, you didn't need to just be fouled. You had to be massacred, you know what I'm saying? Because you still had the physical ability to finish the shot, shoot it and hit it and still make it. And I think that certain people have a reputation for being clutch. So talk about how that competitive spirit and success you had just on the court in basketball amongst, very talented people. How did that transition over to the work you're doing as an attorney right now?
Oh, man. I mean, when it comes to being clutch in any facet, that's something that I always, thrive, especially on the basketball court in that sense. I mean, I always took that competitive nature and tried to channel it into something else, right? So even with me being an attorney, I mean, there's a natural competitive edge in between, some attorneys and stuff like that. But I mean, if anything, I take that energy and just make it so I can be able to thrive. I mean, I've come in clutch for my clients in a lot of different situations when it comes to things. I mean, criminal defense is one of the areas that I practice, and I can only tell you how many times that I've been able to come in the clutch for somebody when it comes to something that may be going on in their life. They may have made a mistake, and I've been there to kind of be that bridge between them and the court system to be able to, help them take that next step forward and to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. So
that's important. I had a good friend told me a long time ago, said everybody got bad jokes about a lawyer until they need one.
Yeah, for sure.
He said then when they need one, they want a shark. I want blood,
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So talk about that a little bit when, you talk about coming through in the clutch for your, client and doing great things. Is it a poor assumption to think that all attorneys come in the clutch or all will offer you everything you need when you need it?
That's a good question. I mean, I would say that it's not a good assumption to believe that every attorney is going to come in a clutch for you, because I mean, they talk about it in the basketball sense when you talk about the clutch gene, right? It's kind of something that you're born with, and you kind of got to want it, right? So I've always been that kind of person, that kind of attorney that, I mean, I'm going to go all out for my clients within the parameters of which I'm allowed to do, right? So I mean, I'm not the type of person that's gonna just I'm just gonna throw them to the wolves. I'm still gonna do the best that I can, even if this person may have a troubling record or something like that. I'm still gonna try and do my best. So some attorneys might not do the same thing. So me being I had that foundation of doing public defender work. I used to do the public defender out in
Washington County. That's
yes,
right. That's right. That's right.
Out in Ann Arbor. So I mean, I got a good taste of how it is to be there for somebody when they really need you. So some attorneys, I mean, they might not really care as much. I mean, me, coming from this, from Detroit, I was born in Livernois, born and raised in Livernois Retirement.
Yes, sir.
And my mom didn't want me in Detroit schools at the time.
Sure.
A lot of stuff.
That's a fair statement. You don't even have to be apologetic for that. We already know.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, for me to come from where I come from, and to see those things, I think I kind of got a heart when it comes to that kind of stuff, as opposed to maybe somebody who may have come from a different kind of upbringing, who may not have that kind of nature towards their clients.
Well, I can attest to that personally. I mean, you being from Detroit, me being from Detroit, and we made our way to Lansing. We met, what more universal and telling place in the basketball court, the hardwood, if you really want to know somebody's personality. And time, if we weren't playing, we were all sitting around talking. And I think in those conversations, I never heard you to be judgmental. You were very good, and I'll use the term code switching, meaning being able to connect with every facet of who was on the court or on the sideline, but also be able to master the Queen's English and also articulate a point. I think that's a very rare skill set to have, especially in your work. You talked about what you saw when you were at the Washington County Defender's Office, and being in the position of being in those, how should I say, special places, those rooms that everyone doesn't get into, but you still have this experience that you brought that makes you very unique for the clients you serve. Is that a fair assessment? Like that?
For sure. I mean, a lot of people didn't necessarily come from the kind of background that I did, at least from some of the people that I was working with. A lot of people that I went to Cooley Law School out there in Boston, of course. Yeah. And a lot of people were from out of state. You know what I mean? So even then, when they would see me, a young black brother, I kind of I look like them. I kind of got, like you said, the code switching, being able to kind of to know who I'm talking to kind of know what kind of energy I might need to give this person to make sure that we're on the same page, right?
I like that.
I mean, it's a lot of that is kind of formulated just through through training and just through life. So I mean, to me, a lot of that is a fair statement to make. I agree with that. Yeah.
And if you want to keep it all real, folks, you're keeping it tight with the Cardi's on. You got the Cardi's on real low key over here, chilling. So he know how to just move with it. Yeah. Let's talk about the Oliver Law Group. You got Allison Oliver over there, another associate attorney there with you, Christopher Brown, not to be confused with Chris Brown. Right. Chris Brown. No, but it seems like you get a good group. Tell me about the experience at the Oliver Law Group and why it's really been a great home for you.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I would like to just thank Allison Oliver, for being just a great person. I mean, I went from a situation that was kind of ideal into kind of a topsy-turvy situation. So, the roof was on fire, and I got out of there.
The roof was on fire.
And Allison has just been a breath of fresh air. She's great. She has helped me just grow and thrive in so many ways. Oh, wow. I really can't even describe it. I mean, she's talking to me about just being able to have a bigger part in the firm, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, that's right. I can see the smile up on his mask. You can see the cheekbone. And let me just add to that. This has been my friend for several years, and I think that we've been tight enough and we've been been very open enough to share where we're at because we all were going through different journeys together. And I tell you what, to Allison at the Oliver Law Group, I know this man is very happy to be there because I know his personality. And when he's saying this, he's not just saying it. This is what he's feeling. And I guess it's almost a benefit of having been in a different situation that you get that level of appreciation.
Oh man, it just going from that situation and just kind of understanding the way that things kind of work in the typical law firm, literally going from, kind of a clerk position into an attorney position, like literally going from, a corner of an office to having my own office and stuff like that.
The little things like that mean a lot.
Yeah, and it's,
because they're saying that person, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's saying that person wants to invest in you, wants to see you grow, and wants to see you get opportunity. I mean, we take for granted. I remember my first day in the governor's office, I had someone who wasn't the governor, referring to Governor Granholm, that is years ago, who did the office assignments, and I had a small little space. I'm like, what's up with this? But it was that person's vision of what the future could be for me. But then when you get with other people who be like, man, I want to give you what I want. I want to give you what I want to achieve. So I think that's what you're saying.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Allison has, like I said, she's opened up so many doors, and like I said, I'm doing things that I just never envisioned that I would be doing. I mean, I've traveled for work, pre-COVID and everything like that. I've went to West Virginia, I've went to Georgia, I've went to Tennessee, all conducting depositions of different doctors and just all different kinds of stuff, right? Stuff that I just don't know if that opportunity would have presented itself somewhere else. But the humbling aspect of all of that was that I got to see that place, go from a place where I wanted to be to somewhere I'm like, okay, well, let me do some soul searching and see if this is the place where I need to be. The loyalty in me wanted to stay there, but Allison, like I said, it's been a breath of fresh air. It's one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life was doing that and transitioning to Oliver Law Group. She tells me all the time, like, you're gonna be head honcho and everything like that one day. It's just, for me, I'm 30 years old, man. I mean, to be a young black man and have those kind of things said to me. And then just shout out to my homie, my colleague Christopher Brown as well. He's been practicing for about a year now, and he's actually Canadian. He stays in Canada, so he drives over and everything.
Oh, he on that 401, eh?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Toronto, T-Dot. Get out that way, man.
Yes, sir. So he's a big Raptors fan too. So my homie Chris is very, very, very intelligent. He helps me out in a lot of ways. He makes me realize some things, that how much knowledge that I have because I'm teaching him sometimes.
Sure, because he has a different perspective being from a different country, being from Canada.
Exactly. So it's just like sometimes I'm talking to him and it's just like it's just crazy to me sometimes how much knowledge that I've gained over time to the point that I'm able to even share it and be able to teach somebody. And he teaches me stuff. I mean, he's very fluid in the area of employment law.
Sure.
So I mean, any employment type of situation, I pass it along to him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So shout out to my boy Chris.
Well, it's something to be said about that. That dynamic that you guys have going on. I'm just looking at it from a team aspect. You have confidence in your teammate.
For sure.
And I think when you talk about teams that win championships, shout out to the Lakers, teams that do really well, it's because they spend that time and they have that bond. And it's interesting when I hear you say, he's good at this, so you can give him his accolades and defer to him, and he do the same. And I think in many cases you don't always have that. I mean, you know about that, whether it's in a different law firm or the public defender's office or whatever it may be. How important is that?
Oh, it's important. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's all a team. We all work on the string. If Allison's able to take care of that, then that means I can take care of that. I mean, an example of that is when I first started at Allison at the Oliver Law Group. And when I first started there, she knew that I had a background in criminal defense, right? So I wasn't doing that at the prior law firm that I was at. But as soon as I got over there, she's like, "You're gonna basically be handling all of our criminal stuff." So, I'm straight in the court. I'm doing everything like that, right away. And it's that's like you said, being able to pass something along so we can continue to keep revenue and everything like that coming in and keep the business going. And it's same thing with Chris when it comes to stuff. He doesn't necessarily care for the criminal end, so then he likes to pass that stuff to me if it's employment or if it comes to Chris is a very good writer, so if it's hey man, boom,
it's that team effort.
Yeah, exactly. Knock that motion out.
I like that. Before I get to some of the other things you guys are covering, I want to go back to some. But you got product liability, medical malpractice, business law, criminal defense, no fault, and you still have a history in dealing with dog bites, police brutality, and municipal lawsuit case. But I want to go back to something when you talk about when you got to the Oliver Law Group and you pretty much took over the defense, portion of the law group, right?
For sure.
How did it feel when you went back to old spaces and places, and you went back in there and you had a different role? I mean, talk about that experience where you kind of had to go back down memory lane, but pop up and basically stun on cats like you know what I'm saying? Stunting on everybody that fronted on me. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta let them know, So I mean, it was a very humbling experience, right? Because I mean, when I was doing the public defender office when I was in law school initially, I was out there in Washington County.
I remember you were talking like, I gotta come down here Tuesday and Thursday or something like that, right?
Exactly. So I was out there a couple of days out the week, and of course you get familiar with the judges and everything out there, and then you fast forward, and then next thing you know, I'm doing a lot of cases I'm on the public defender list for Oakland County. So now,
and how important is that to be listed on the public defender list? What does that mean?
Oh man, it's huge to me. I mean, so many different attorneys when you're on the public defender list. I mean, you don't even get that much exposure if you're like a civil attorney in my eyes, especially nowadays with the way that everything is remote and with Zoom and stuff. I mean,
so if you didn't have those relationships already, that can limit how you move around.
Imagine being a new attorney trying to do, you know what I mean? You have no courtroom.
You're like,
I can only imagine how it is, coming out of law school and being, a fresh out, new attorney right now. Imagine trying to practice criminal defense. You're not even really able to go into the jails right now. You're not able to go into court, so you're not getting that feel of being in court. So I mean, the public defender list gives you so much exposure, and the judges have a lot of respect for the people that do public defender work as well, because you're always in their courtroom. They see you all the time. I've probably been in front of every single judge in Oakland County.
Wow. That's an added benefit to your client.
Oh, for sure.
I think the assumption is, even now, and I won't make this political, but even now, the most recent Supreme Court justice, you got more time in the courtroom than she do.
Exactly. I know, right? Yeah.
Shout out to Cam. But I just think that people make the assumption when you say attorney that they have this skill set and they're really well versed in it, and that may not be the case.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, imagine going into, just even trying to negotiate a deal right now. It's just different. If you don't have that experience of knowing how to kind of, move about the courtroom virtually at this point, I mean, I can only imagine it's got to be tough.
It's like trying to meet somebody in COVID. You know what I'm saying? You single, you trying to date. It's like, nah, you got to get at me later. I can't do that.
Yep, got to wait till it's over.
I want to thank Cameron Bell and the Oliver Law Group for what they're doing, because you're supporting SPS. You're supporting this upcoming game, Michigan State versus Northwestern. With your support, SPS will be in the building at the Spartan Stadium covering the game and be giving updates, throughout the game. Halftime and post-game update will be in the name of Cameron Bell and the Oliver Law Group. But while we still have you, let's get back to sports and, now that you're in your lane doing your thing, how are you able to kind of bring your love for sports back into your world right now? I remember that time I was worried about you. Say you're getting ready for the bar. You say I'm about to go under for a minute, and I was checking in and we was communicating, and you came out victorious. Well, let's say now that your life is back and on track as far as it relates to your professional work, how do you still make time for sports and your love for sports?
Oh man, I mean, my love for sports has never went anywhere. I keep up with sports. I've been keeping up with the NBA free agency and all of this stuff that's been going on.
Who's going to win the title again, you think, in NBA?
Probably. I mean, I can see the Lakers definitely getting back to the finals. The East is kind of a toss-up. You never really know. I mean, are the Bucks going to really do what they're supposed to do?
Should Giannis stay?
I mean, I think he should. I don't
stay and get the bag. It's either the bag or the chip. It's one or the other.
But where is he going to go? He's a tough player to kind of mesh around the way he plays, too. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
So you're the one. You're saying what nobody want to say. You're like, look, it's tough to build a team around Giannis. You know,
It is.
Like he's a Greek freak, but to be able to do that, that's tight. I was really happy with the Lakers, man. I don't have any problem saying I'm a LeBron fan. I don't have a problem saying that
for sure.
And I think the moves they made, JaVale McGee is gone, which I can understand why. But for Montreal's hell, that was that's going to be huge. So if Dwight Howard stays, then how much will they miss Rondo? I think perfect example is that they can look at a player like Rondo and see him as quote unquote being interchangeable. But how much are they going to miss him for Schroeder? Schroeder's coming in.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, they lost Rondo. I'm like, you replace him with Dennis Schroeder, but Dennis Schroeder doesn't necessarily have that playoff mental edge. You know what I mean?
And who can check LeBron? I don't mean check him physically, but who can talk to LeBron like they said AD would and whatnot. And I think that's what people take for granted. So you've been able to stay connected to your sports.
Oh man, always staying connected to the sports. I still like to get out and play basketball. I still always, playing basketball whenever I can. I really want to, at some point, in the near future, I want to start getting into the grassroots level, and I want to start, pursuing that further dream of being able to be a sports agent.
Oh, say no more, brother. Say no more. If that's the case, man, I'm inspired for you. Like, hey, you heard it here first. SPSEdge podcast with Cameron Bell. Hey, look out, Oliver Group. Y'all got to get ready, man. Y'all got to make the doors a little taller for all these pro athletes who are going to be walking through the door.
Yes, sir.
With Cameron Bell. But what I want to do, I want to take a time just to wrap up now. I do want to bring you back and have another conversation. But I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you not only to Cameron Bell for being here with me, being a great friend over the years, but to him and the Oliver Law Group. Shout out to Allison there, as well as Christopher Brown there, and the great staff that's there supporting those guys. You can reach them at 800-771-6689. They have offices in Troy, Michigan, as well as Dallas, Texas. They also offer free consultation. Now, young ladies, I don't need you calling talking about is Cameron single, anything like that. But you call, you get you a free consultation. He'll help you out and go from there. And the last thing, product liability, medical malpractice, business law, criminal defense, and no fault. And Cameron has personal history dealing with dog bites, police brutality, and municipality law. So before we go, is there anything you want to say just to sign off to people who are following you or anyone who may be watching this podcast right now?
Just reach out to me on oliverlawgroup.com. If you got any questions, concerns, I love being a resource for my people. Just reach out to me. I'm always here. I'm not going anywhere. This is really just the beginning.
Just the beginning. You heard it here, and go always keep it tight with SPS. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.